Hello and good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and let you guys in and get started a few minutes after 10 once everybody has joined. Hope you all are having a good morning. Just a few notes. We're not going to be utilizing the chat or raising your hand during the presentation, but once the presentation is over, we will be allowing everyone to present their questions and get all their questions answered. So if you can hold all of your questions to the end of the presentation, that would be great. If you are here and you are a student and you're not a business owner that has a business in the city of Chicago, I'm going to give you my number because we have a lot of students who have gotten this information, but what they really want is the WIOA program and not Workforce Solutions. Workforce Solutions is specifically for business owners in the city of Chicago. So I don't want you all to waste your time. If you are a student, you can give me a call after the webinar at 312-380-9933. 312-380-9933. You can give me a call. My name is Ms. Johnson, and I will lead you to an WIOA program. So everybody else, let's just sit tight and wait for our other business owners to get online, and then we'll get started a few minutes after 10. Sorry. 2 or 3 minutes after 10, we'll get started. Send a message. Okay, thank you. Anissa, can you give me a nod that you got the message and it worked okay with Q&A?
It did.
Okay, thank you. Hey, welcome everyone as you're adding to our list. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Just a few housekeeping notes. Please do not use the chat or the raising of your hands during the presentation. We have set aside time after the presentation to answer all of your questions. We're going to be using the Q&A today. So there's a Q&A, should be at the bottom of your screen. If you do have difficulties hearing the presentation or anything, send us a note. If you have questions, you can put them there. But we are asking you to hold all of your questions and comments until after the presentation. If you are a student and you do not own a business and you're in this webinar by accident, this is only for business owners. We don't want to waste your time and have you go through the webinar and it's not set up for you. So if you are a student and you're looking for the WIOA program or other programs that work with students, please give me a call after the webinar at 312-380-9933 and we'll direct you to a career coach with the WIOA program. My name is Ms. Johnson. Feel free to call me after 11 a.m. after the webinar is ended. I'm going to give people about 2 more minutes to join, and then we'll get started. Yes, non-for-profits are a part of this great opportunity as well. If you own a business or you're a non-for-profit, you are welcome to stay on and get this great information. We have been getting students to register, and I just don't want to waste their time. This is only for business owners and non-for-profits in the city of Chicago. If you are a student and you're here accidentally and you're looking for training programs through the WIA program, feel free to call me at 312-380-9933. Thank you, Anissa. Everybody else, if you're a business owner and you own a business in the city of Chicago, if you're a non-for-profit organization here and your business is located in the city of Chicago, definitely we invite you to stay on and get this great information. And lastly, for those few people who just joined, my name is Audrey Johnson. I just want to welcome you guys to the Workforce Solutions Informational, where you're going to learn how you can get some beneficial funds for your agency or for your organization. If you are a business and your business is located here in the city of Chicago, this is a great opportunity for you. We are not going to be using the chat or raising hands during the presentation, but as soon as the presentation is over, we're going to open it up and answer all of your questions, and we'll assist you with getting more information and next steps. If you are a student, a young person who's looking for training, this is not the webinar for you, but if you call me, my information is in the chat. You can give me a call and we will direct you correctly. Okay, it's 10:03 and we're going to go ahead and get started. And to start us off, we're going to ask Miss Lahia Everez to address everybody and give a welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Likia Ibarez, and I manage the Workforce Solutions Program with the city's Department of Planning and Development, Small Business Development Bureau. And joining me is my colleague, David Diaz, who works closely with me on this program. Thank you all for being here today and for the outstanding work you do as small business owners. Your dedication and drive are what makes Chicago truly exceptional. We deeply appreciate the time, energy, and investment you put not only into your businesses, but also into straightening the communities around you. We are especially excited to connect with employers and business owners who are committed to growing their businesses and investing in talent. We understand that running a business comes with unique challenges, from staying competitive in a fast-moving market to attracting and retaining skilled workers. For small businesses, every dollar and every decision matter. And that's why programs like this grant are so important. They're designed to help you stretch your training budget further by reimbursing up to 100% of eligible training costs for current employees and new hires, with a maximum grant award of up to $250,000. Whether you're growing your team or helping current staff learn new skills, this program makes workforce development more affordable. We're excited to share information on the Workforce Solutions Program. This enhanced version builds on the legacy program some of you may be familiar with. Over the past few years, we've made meaningful improvements to expand our reach and better support businesses citywide, making this a truly exciting time for our team and the communities we serve. Joining us today is our program administrator, Employment and Employer Services, who will be walking us through the presentation. If you've had the pleasure of working with them before, you know firsthand how valuable they are in supporting Chicago's small business community. They will be instrumental in guiding applicants through the application process and ensuring smooth project management. Additionally, please don't hesitate to reach out to DPD and use our office as a resource. We're here to support your business, and we're ready to listen and offer support in any way we can. Thank you all again for being here today. I will now turn it over to Anissa Jones, Senior Vice President for E&ES.
Thank you, Lahia. Yes, good morning, everyone. So as Lahia mentioned, my name is Anissa Jones, and I'm a Senior Vice President of Employment and Human Services here with E&ES. We are very excited and grateful to partner with DPD to provide the Workforce Solutions Program as their program administrator. A little bit about our organization. We were founded in 1983, which was over 40 years ago. And here we are really focused on supporting Chicagoland businesses and community residents with advancing economic communities by helping them to build a skilled workforce. And we're really excited to be partnering, of course, with the many nonprofits and businesses in Chicago and those on the call today to help them achieve this goal. As the program administrator, we will work really closely with all of the businesses and nonprofits that are applying to really support you through the application process. Audrey Johnson will be your point of contact, but we're really here to provide that technical and hands-on assistance to make sure that you are successful with completing the application, as well as successfully achieving your goals of the contract. And we're really committed to making sure that we're strengthening Chicagoland's workforce, and we're happy to be doing that through this training and upskilling opportunity provided by the Department of Planning and Development. Again, we really thank the team here for allowing us to be a part of this, and I'm now going to turn this over to Audrey Johnson, who's going to lead today's informational sessions. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, guys. Hello to everyone. I'm excited that you all have made it to the webinar this morning, and we want to jump right in so that we can maximize our time. I'll be your host today, and I'm actually your contact after the webinar when you need to get more information on next steps. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about today. What is Workforce Solutions? What's the eligibility and the funding look like? The grant calculator, we're going to give you some examples. Who's ineligible for this program? Who's eligible for this program? The business location and how that plays a part. Application process, how this is a reimbursement grant and how do you utilize that. The different visits and monitoring that we're going to do as a part of the program. Closeout steps, frequently asked questions, additional resources, and then we're going to go into the Q&A. What is Workforce Solutions? Workforce Solutions grant covers qualified training for current employees, upscaling, and in addition to that, new hire on-the-job training, leadership development, technical skills, and so much more. Workforce Solutions reimbursement grants are funded through the City of Chicago via the Tax Increment Financing. If you've ever heard of TIF information or TIF wards, TIF monies, this is Tax Increment Financing. Proceeds from the Housing and Economic Development Board. This is bond money. Grants may fund up to 100% of eligible expenses for businesses seeking to train current employees and of new hires. So training. Eligible requirements. You must be located in, expanding into, or relocating to the City of Chicago. So this is for City of Chicago businesses. Workforce training for permanent full-time and or permanent part-time staff. Commitment to remain in that community area for at least 3 years. Financially prepared to support training costs. Let me repeat that. You must be financially prepared to support those training costs. And then grants can be limited up to $250,000 within a 3-year waiting period after that limit is reached. Eligible industries. Now, all of the industries are not listed here. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. But non-for-profits are excited to welcome them. Food service, tourism and hospitality. Excuse me. Healthcare and life sciences, manufacturing and industrial, information technology, real estate, finance, insurance, retail, energy, education and training, transportation, distribution, and logistics. What will Workforce Solutions fund? What types of projects? The Workforce Solutions Program can fund trainings for current employees. Let me make sure you know those current employees must be W-2 workers. New hire on-the-job training, Chicago residents only. Leadership development, instructor wages, training fees for your current workers, your incumbent workers. Training supplies and materials that are associated directly to the training, such as a workbook or a training book. Training rental equipment, customized training curriculum. Let's look at how some of the funding is taking place. The Workforce Solutions Program is a reimbursement grant that can fund up to 100% of total eligible project costs up to a standard maximum of $250,000. So you are 100% eligible for reimbursement if under commercial you're up to 1.5 million in annual sales. So you can't be over 1.5, but up to 1.5 is 100% eligible cost. For industry, a maximum of 40 full-time employees. And for non-for-profits, all non-for-profits are eligible 100% for eligible costs. Now, organizations who are up to 5 million in annual sales have a 25% contribution. If your industry, you have over 125 full-time employees, you would have a 25% contribution. For 50%, if you exceed 5 million in annual sales, you would have a 50% contribution. Or if your industry is more than 125 employees, then you would have a 50% contribution. So contribution, what does that mean? Contribution is a match that you're putting resources behind training just like we are. So your different contributions could include expenses not already included in the project cost. These would be expenses that you as the owner are paying. So wages for staff used to assist with training. So your staff that's sitting in training, you're paying for them to be there. That's a contribution that you're putting towards training. We pay for the trainer, you pay for the staff to be there. Materials and supplies used to support training, other things that you have to pay for, kits, things like that, that you pay for, that could be to count towards your contribution. Wages paid to incumbent employees doing training. These are all different things that can count towards your contribution. We're not talking about cash, we're talking about contribution. Here's a grant calculator. So we're going to give an example of how this 25% match would count. So Lori submits an application for Workforce Solutions. She's in a TIF community area where it's funding. She is proposing training with a total eligible cost of $100,000. This is for her current workers who are W-2 on her staff. Over the past 3 years, Lori's hospitality business has grossed $4 million in annual sales. And since 25% contribution is up to 5 million, she falls in the 25% contribution. So here's her breakdown. Her total eligible project cost is $100,000. That's what she's applying for from us for training. The annual sales are over 1.5, but under 5 million. So she falls in the 25% contribution. And now her grant awarded from us from Workforce Solutions would be the $100,000, but she has to show how she's invested $25,000 in her training program. Another example at the 50% contribution. So Sam submits an application for the Workforce Solutions grant. He's in a funded TIF area. He's proposing training with the total eligible cost of $200,000 for 20 of his current employees who are W-2s. Sam's manufacturing company employs 250 people. So he is well above the 125 full-time employees under industry. So he has a 50% contribution that we're going to see him give towards this. So his total eligible cost, what he's applying for from Workforce Solutions, is $200,000 to train his staff. In his business, because he employs over 125, puts him at the 50% contribution level. Workforce Solutions grant is $200,000 to him. He's showing us how he's made investments to the training program through salaries and other things that total up to $100,000. And here is a calculation of zero match contributions. So Jessica applies for Workforce Solutions grant, and she's in an eligible TIF area, but she's a non-for-profit who serves the homeless at shelters throughout the city of Chicago. She's proposing to do training with a total eligible cost of $125,000 for her current workers who are W-2 that are on her staff already. And in addition to that, she wants to hire 2 new people and bring them on, which is the on-the-job training program. Over the past 3 years, her non-for-profit has only grossed $450,000. The breakdown for Jessica is her total eligible cost that she's trying to get from Workforce Solutions for training of her staff is $125,000. Workforce Solutions can grant her the $125,000, but there is no match. She does not have to show that she's a match. One, because she's a non-for-profit, but not only because she's a non-for-profit, she's also below her gross income is below 1.5 million. So she would also be at a no match because of that as well. Now, we do have some businesses that are not eligible for the program. This is not an all-inclusive list, but if you think that you have a business that might come into question, just reach out to us and we'll let you know. So any chain businesses like Walmart, McDonald's, things like that would not be awarded by this program. Branch banks, employment agencies, religious worship institutions, currency exchanges, payday loan stores, pawn shops, astrology and palm reading stores, K through 12 schools, gas stations, liquor stores, bars, nightclubs, smoke shops, cigar lounges, adult uses, firearms stores or shooting ranges, massage parlors, hotels or motels, residential storage warehouses, track waging facilities, trailer storage yards, or junkyards. If you have any questions about your business, please reach out. So this is the Workforce Solutions grant, and where your business located is important. The grant program is open to all businesses citywide because we do have currently 27 TIF districts, and we'll go over the names in the next slide, but there's 27 approved TIF districts. This is tax increment funding. And then we have bond funds for 2025 have been fully allocated. So normally bond funds would be available for anybody who does not sit in a TIF area. And for 2025, all of the funds that we have for bond have been allocated. However, these funds do replenish in 2026. So in the first quarter, you're more than welcome to come back and apply at that time. Businesses outside of these districts are encouraged to contact us for guidance and next steps. So you can reach out to us. We'll let you know. We'll check your address. We'll let you know if you're in a TIF, if you're outside the TIF, and what your next steps are. So businesses right now who are located in our 27 TIF, these are 27 areas that are funded right now with funds to be able to fund your different training projects. So I'm just going to read through the list really quickly. 119th and Halsted, 119th and I-57, 35th and Halsted, 47th and Ashland, 47th and Halsted, 47th and King Drive, 47th and State, 71st and Stony Island, 79th and Vincennes, 87th and Cottage Grove. The Austin Commercial TIF, Avalon Park, South Shore, Bronzeville, Chicago Central Park, Commercial Avenue, Elston Armstrong, Inglewood Neighborhood, Fullerton Milwaukee, Greater Southwest, Kinsey Industrial Corridor, Lawrence and Broadway, Pulaski Corridor, Roseland, Michigan, Stevenson Brighton, Washington Park, West Woodlawn, and Woodlawn. Please, you're going to send us your business address, and we'll check and let you know if you fall into one of those areas. Even if you're not in a TIF district, we encourage you to apply. E&ES we'll discuss options for other potential funding opportunities. If a TIF district with no funding. So if you're in a TIF district that's not funded in one of those 27 TIFs right now, don't be discouraged. You still can put your application in. With the city has this goal of making sure that more TIFs are open every year. And once you apply, your application secures your position there. And so we really encourage people, if you think this training grant is a good grant for you, to apply. It may not be currently eligible for Workforce Solutions, but we are hoping that future funding will come available. All are welcome to apply if you need this training. So if you want to upscale and train your current employees, or if you want to hire new employees and get them acclimated to your business, this will be a great opportunity for you. So this is a picture of our Workforce Solutions website page. You can go online and get great information about the grant and how to apply for the grant, and everything that you need is here on the Workforce Solutions website page. There's policies and procedures there that you can read upon that talks about requirements and things of that nature. Most importantly, what I want to bring to your attention is right next to the policy and procedure button, there's the submit application. So at that time, when you're ready to put your application in, you're going to go in and hit submit application here. It's going to take you out to the submittable platform. Submittable is where the city of Chicago has placed the Workforce Solutions grant. This is where you will receive information and emails back and forth between me and my team. And this is where your application would reside. So once you hit submit, you're going to come to a similar page here where it's showing you the Workforce Solutions grant application. And if you've ever used Submittable in the past for past grants, you do not have to create a brand new password and log in. You just need to go to this page. You would actually put in your password and log in, and then it'll take you right to the Workforce Solutions grant application. If you have never been on Submittable before, you can create a login here where you're going to create an account, and then you'll be able to go into the application. The application must be submitted through Submittable. That's the only way to get to it. The initial application review process to determine whether or not you're eligible takes 1 to 2 weeks from the time you complete your application. So I want to talk through the application process to give you some timelines. Now, of course, timelines will vary. What's vitally and important is that you get your correct documentation submitted in, and that would help drive the process better. So you're going to first get an eligibility notification about 2 weeks after you've applied. Then you're going to be asked to submit required documentation that the city has as requirements. That takes about 1 to 2 weeks for you to get everything into us in a timely manner. Then you're going to get a document approval, which means all your documents played out, or you're going to get like, okay, we need you to update your documents. We need to make sure that everything is correct. That could take 3 to 4 weeks, again, depending on how quickly you get your submitted documents in. Then once you get your recipient agreement, the ideal is that it takes about 2 or 3 more weeks to get an executed contract. That's your award letter, and everything is ready to go. So looking at step 1, after you've actually went online, went onto Submittable, put your application in, completed your training needs assessment, then you're going to get to the next stage, which means you're going to submit all your support documentation, like your insurance information, your business license, things that are vital to you applying for the grant. Once we receive that, then those documents are going to be reviewed by my team. They're going to be approved, and then they're going to be submitted to the city of Chicago, who will then provide a recipient agreement, which is like your preliminary contract. And then step 4, the applicant submits the executed recipient agreement, which means you sign off on it, everything looks good, and then you're going to be executing a contract with this business. And then once you get your award letter, training can start or hiring can start. One important step in the process of receiving your documentations is the scofflaw and indebtedness check. This is a check that goes throughout the city of Chicago to ensure that you don't owe any debt to the city before the grant process starts. So those 3 documents that you will be responsible for are compliance with child support laws, verifying that there's no debt in any department owed to the city, and then that you complete an economic disclosure statement. The other required documents that will be needed is a training needs assessment that you get from us, financial statements or proof of revenue, certificate of insurance that meets the city requirements, program policies and procedures that you've read the policy and procedure manual and signed off on it, the economic disclosure statement that you're going to complete with the city of Chicago, the principal profile, child support affidavit, a copy of your business license, or your 501(c) and a letter of good standing, monitoring protocol requirements, the Arch banking information so you can get your reimbursement money sent back to your account, any training curriculums or schedules, training resumes and references, training cost estimates and quotes. That all comes from your trainer and third-party organization that you're working with. In addition, if you are going to do the on-the-job training and do new hires, you're going to need job descriptions for each of those positions. Reimbursement for eligible costs. So to get your reimbursement and get your funds back to you, sent back to the employer, we're going to have to go through what's called a vouchering and documentation process for your reimbursement. So after training sessions are complete, your training is done, you've paid your trainer, and now, or you've paid the wages on your new hires, and now it's a time for you to get those funds back. So how frequently does that happen? For incumbent worker training, you're going to be allowed to do up to 3 vouchers can be submitted during the contract term. 3 vouchers over your contract term, which is a year. On the job training, there's monthly for a maximum of 13 weeks. For up to 3 months, you can get salaries returned to you through reimbursement. And then there is retention and closeout incentives. So reimbursement for eligible costs. So documentation submitted for reimbursement are your voucher forms, any invoices that the trainer might have provided to you, receipts showing that you've paid the trainer, invoices, any proof of payment. Then for every incumbent training that you do, you need to have sign-in sheets where your staff has signed off that they've attended the training. And then for any OJT where you're getting salaries back, you have to show proof of their wages by their pay stub coming in. Then there's a review and approval of those documents and paperwork. And if everything adds up and gels closely together, you can look for reimbursement coming back to you from the city in 6 to 8 weeks, pending the voucher and documents are accurate and complete and there's no back and forth. As a part of this grant, there will be visits and monitoring that'll take place throughout the year of the contract. So you're agreeing to the monitoring and compliance check-ins, submission of required attendance and wage reports, scheduling site visits to observe training, businesses stays in the community for at least 3 years after having received the grant. Agreed upon annual follow-up discussions for 3 years to discuss the business needs, how did the training impact the business, things of that nature. Then you can always get follow-up calls, including, follow-up contacts, including phone calls and emails, just to check in. The closeout steps. So closeout reports and final vouchers documentation must be submitted when all training has been completed. So you've had this great training, it's over with now, you've paid for everything, and so we want to close out. Training business goals will be noted at the start of the contract period. Then we're going to be reevaluating those goals at the closeout point at the end of the contract period. The closeout report provides a summary of what the training accomplished, what kind of impact did it have, a way for you to look at the return of investment on your business and community. Pending funding grants agreement. Applicants may be eligible for an additional 2% administrative compensation upon completion of all your closeout reports. So this is an additional 2% of your grant that's returned to the employer. These are a list of our Workforce Solutions frequently asked questions. At the end of this presentation, you will get an email where you will get these, you will get a copy of this video, and you will get the slide presentation. We do have some additional resources here for you. I get this question all the time. Can we apply for other grants with the city if we're applying for Workforce Solutions? The answer is yes. Here are 2 different grants that you can apply for. The Small Business Improvement Grant. You can use the QR code here and get more information directly for that. But this grant is for permanent building improvements and repairs. The program participants can receive grants to cover between 30% and 90% of the cost of remodeling work, with a maximum grant of $150,000 for commercial properties and $250,000 for industrial properties. The other grant is the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. This leverages funds generated by new development in the Loop to support corridors in Chicago's underserved neighborhoods. The NOF provides grants for up to $250,000 for business and property owners to pay for the construction or rehabilitation of properties that support new or expanding businesses of cultural asset. So please take a moment. Oh, we got another one. Okay. Community Development Grant, the CDG, covers eligible new construction and renovation through proceeds from the 224 Housing and Economic Development Bond and other funding sources. The CDGs are available at 3 funding levels to support local, commercial, and light manufacturing projects via small, medium, and large grants. And then we have the Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. Serves as a key resource for Chicago businesses, offering guidance, training, and webinars to support growth and compliance. Learn more about BACP programs and services by visiting chicago.gov BACP. So we do encourage you all to apply for these different funds that can all help you move your business forward and cement you here in the city of Chicago as a successful business. We're getting ready to go into our question and answer period. So I hope you've held your questions and you're ready. But before we do that, we want to take a minute for you all to take pictures of this slide or to get our contact information. Again, you can reach out to me. I'm the program director for Workforce Solutions. My name is Audrey Johnson. This is my number, 312-380-9933. You can reach out to me through the Workforce Solutions at eesforjobs.com. And then we had already went out to the website page. So there's the website page as well for Workforce Solutions. I want to thank our host as well, Lahia Everez, who's from the city of Chicago. She's the coordinator of economic development. Her email with the city of Chicago is here as well as the City of Chicago's Workforce Solutions website page. So please take this information. Feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to ask every business owner in the city of Chicago to email me today and send me your mailing address for your business so we can get you checked out and make sure that we can determine if your email is in the city of Chicago. With that being said, we're going to open up our Q&A. If you look down at the bottom of your screen, you should say a Q&A with a little question mark. Feel free to put questions there. As well, we can open up the chat. We can have you raise your hand. So if you have a question and you'd like for me to answer it for you, anything about the presentation, feel free to raise your hand now. I'll acknowledge you, and then we'll allow you to raise your hand and come off mute. And then you can ask your question live. Let's see. Do we have anyone who has a question? You can raise your hand at this time. Okay, who is this? I see a hand up. Beth, can you come off mute?
Unmute.
Can you
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hi, Beth. How can we answer a question for you today?
So thank you for this great presentation. I'm interested to know in what circumstances a grant could be considered for more than $250,000.
So that is a great question. At this time, I think that we're limited to $250,000 for the most any one grant can be provided for within this given year. I know in the past, when it was a different name program, sometimes circumstances would allow for the $500,000 grant, but right now, since since it's been relaunched under Workforce Solutions, 250,000 is the limit right now for the 3-year period.
Okay,
Hi,
and then
Audrey. Sorry, let me jump in really quick.
Sure.
$250,000 is the standard maximum. There may be extraordinary circumstances where we may go over that. However, that would be on a case-by-case basis, and if there's funding available for that specific project. But the project would have to show significant impact.
okay, got it. All righty. And then are you still on a schedule for non-TIF areas where it's basically like a competitive process for awards? That's still a schedule for potentially opening up applications at the beginning of the year, or was it December? I'm trying to recall.
So yeah, for this year, all of those funds have been, sent out to other agencies, but that will refund, I'm gonna say first quarter. I can't say exactly it'll be January, but those funds will be coming back and be available. So if you're interested, I would definitely apply early part of the year.
Okay, so if somebody's going to be hiring people in 26, so if the ramp up is like a couple people, like meaning very few, but the bulk is really in 27, is there, like, would that grant, if you got a grant, cover you going into 26 and 27? So it's over a 3-year period that you can use the money?
No, so it doesn't work like that. So what happens is if you write your grant in 2026 and you're starting at the beginning of the year contract could your first 9 months you're going to be working on completing all of your training, so it would be within the year. So the only way you would go into 2027 is if you're actually writing at towards the end of the year and you say you get approved in October, then you have a year grant and it'll take you into 2027, but you're only writing for the year that you're in. You're not writing between years.
So, but the risk in applying later in the year is that there might not be any money left.
If that's true, and that's true if you're in a TIF area or if you're in a bond area, because each TIF has a certain amount of money that they're allocated. And if that money get used up by people who applied earlier, it is a possibility that those grant could extinguish. But the nice thing about the TIFs is that if you still put an application in, you are in line. Even if those monies, say by the end of 2026, those funds have extinguished and you're in a TIF area that's funded, that funding is replenished the next year and that application stays in line.
Right,
So
but my situation is where it's not in a TIF. So you're always at a disadvantage if you're applying later in the year.
I would definitely say apply early. That would
But
be
you
the
can't, if
smart
you're
thing.
not gonna like hire the people early, like you can't, like, right? There's no,
Beth,
Right, because you have to plan.
it's-
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to be in a position where you are, what I always say to people is, are you in a position to hire now? So when you're applying for the grant, you're looking at past those time frames that we talked about, like maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks into it, that you would be looking to hire by the time you actually get approved.
Yeah,
And
so.
please,
so you-
sorry, Beth, really
ahead.
just make sure to work with us. I know we've had previous conversations as well. Just
Yeah,
make
hi,
sure
how
to,
are you?
good, how are you? So just make sure to continue working with us and plan accordingly. So there's going to be again, new funding for bond release next year. And there will be, as I think I may have mentioned before, there's going to be a new way for those rollouts to look. We'll make sure to keep everyone looped in. There will be a public announcement regarding that. And really, it's just planning accordingly. So making sure that if you already have a plan in place for when the hiring will happen, that you kind of work backwards with that timeline. So the best advice we can give you, Audrey and myself, is just work closely with her and myself,
Perfect.
so that we can make sure that you're following that timeline again. And that's there's no guarantees because bond is competitive. So it also depends on the pool of applications that are received during that specific application cycle.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. Anybody else want to come off mute? You can raise your hand at this time and we'll try to answer. We can't answer all your questions, but we definitely can give you some feedback and information. Cherie Gilmore, can you come off of mute and then we
Oh,
will
good
hear
morning.
your question? Hi, good morning.
Hi. I thought I heard someone say that if you were granted the $250,000, it would be over a 3-year period. Did I miss hear that?
Let me explain that. So it's not that you're getting that money over a 3-year period. It's just saying that if you're awarded the full amount of the 250,000 in 1 year, you cannot come back to Workforce Solutions and apply again for 3 years. So because you would have met the maximum. So give you an example. If the first year you wrote for $50,000, right? And you were funded that and everything. And then you find out a year and a half later that you're going to do brand new hiring and you're in a different position and you want to come back to Workforce Solutions. So you haven't met the 250,000. So now in 2027, you could actually write and submit another application because
Okay.
you haven't met the full amount. But if you in your first grant apply for 250,000, you're not eligible
Okay.
back for 3 years, and then you could apply.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem, no problem. Okay, anybody else want to come off mute? We do have staff who are answering questions. If you don't want to ask it in person, you can put it in the chat, and we do have staff who are answering those questions as well. Anybody else?
Audrey, I am going to go back to the slide related to vouchering. Can you just cover this again to speak to the
Sure.
3 vouchers that can be submitted and how
Okay,
that
yes.
works? Thank you.
We must be getting a lot of questions about vouchering. So just to give a little information. So when you've paid your trainer, right? You have to use a third-party trainer. I get this a lot. People were like, well, I train. Why can't I train my own people? We want you to find qualified trainers that are outside of your agency that are going to come in and provide either they could be providing certificates, they could be providing licensing, they could be providing different training. They could be going to your staff could be going to their location for training. They could be coming to your training location to train your staff. But either way it go, it has to be a third party trainer. And so as you set up these trainings with them and you have scheduled that, okay, I'm going to do 6 trainings. So the first 2 training I'm going to do and complete, and I'm going to pay those trainers, and then I'm going to submit that for reimbursement. So then you would show us the receipts, how you paid those trainers for coming out. We've already approved their schedule, their curriculum, and all of that. And now you're trying to get your funds back. So you may plan to have 1 voucher completed for 2 trainings, then the next 2 trainings, as you pay for those and complete those trainings, then you would be submitting reimbursement for that second. So you can do up to 3 vouchers that come through our office. We look at all your documentation, we approve it, and then we send it on to the city for final approval and then payment. But what you're paying for reimbursement is you're paying for that trainer. right, to show up at your site, provide the training, you pay them, and then we go into the vouchering component. Now, if you are doing on the job training, so say you are getting ready to hire 20 people, and so you're doing on the job training only, you can do monthly vouchers every 4 weeks. You can send in those vouchers to have that funding then reimbursed to you. So there's incumbent training, which is for your current staff who are W-2 staff on your roster right now. And then there's on-the-job training for anybody who is hiring new people to come aboard and be a part of their staff. The vouchering process shows for OJT is pay stubs, pay schedules that show that you've paid for these people and how many hours you paid for them. And that's what you would be looking at for reimbursement. I hope that clears it up. If not, you can come off mute and ask a more detailed question. Anybody else have questions? Okay, yeah, I have somebody here. Patricia, is it? Sarij?
The group. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
How do you say your last name? Secure?
The group.
The group. Okay. Yes, Patricia, what's your question?
Thank you. So kind of piggybacking on what you're talking about with the vouchers and the trainings, we're envisioning that we would send employees out to external trainings. Is that covered in the voucher system?
Yes. So when you say external trainings, do you mean local trainings where the trainer is hosting the training at their facility? Or are you talking about out of state or something like that? Because we don't cover that as much. You might have a trainer that comes in from out of state, but we don't pay for your staff to go out of state for training. Most of the training that businesses need, whether it's for Excel or AI or it's industry specific, there are so many trainers here in the city of Chicago. So we do encourage people to use trainers that are local. And then, yes, if that trainer has a facility where training your staff is going to go there, you basically are negotiating with those trainers based on the training that you want, what the cost is, and then submitting that to us for approval. So we have to vet your trainers and we have to approve them before they can be utilized with your business. So the first thing I would say is if you're going to write an application, within the application, it asks you to provide quotes of trainers because we really want you to take the time to look through your business and identify what training you need. Your financial support might want QuickBooks training. You know, your IT people may need some training. You as an owner may want some professional media training or professional training that you seek at your level. Other people might want to make sure that, like say if it's doctor's office who wants to make sure my CNAs are now blood techs. So I want to get them additional training. So depending on the industry and what your needs are, you're going to find those third-party trainers and negotiate what their price is, how many hours they're going to be at your facility, how long does it take for you to complete the training, and then you're going to submit all of that to us, and then we're going to evaluate it and vet those trainers, and then get back to you about what we can cover and what we don't cover.
Okay. So if I can get a little specific on our case, we're a health clinic and we have different practitioners who need continuing education workshops. It's pretty individualized. It's not like the whole clinic has a training objective.
Right. They have different people have different needs.
Correct. So a lot of those trainings can be online. Some of those trainings are not local because the specialists are in different states or, different areas. Because a lot of the specialties that we do might not be local. And I'm wondering if that is possible for like individual workshops for different practitioners that are not local.
I'm gonna let Lahia take that question because there are some limits where that's concerned. Lahia,
Thank
are
you.
you still on the line?
I'm still here, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. I think we definitely would probably just need to discuss a little bit more in depth what those trainings are.
Yeah.
So this will probably be more of an offline conversation. but please follow up via email. We can set up a time to discuss the specific training needs.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
And Patricia, I would just warn, we would do that before you submit your application. So
Thank
that
you.
way you get the right information submitted, because we want to cover the ones that we can cover, right? And so
Yeah.
that cuts down on a lot of time and everything. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us after the webinar or in the coming days.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
No problem. No
I don't
problem.
know how to unmute.
Okay, I'll put your hand down, so you're good. Anyone else? We still have lots of people in the room. If you all are not getting your questions answered in the chat, you can feel free to come off mute and we'll try to answer your question. Anything else that you all, Anissa or Lahia, are seeing in the chat or the Q&A that we should address for everyone?
Not on my end. No, I think we're good.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, we'll give a few more minutes if anybody else want to answer. If not, it's been a pleasure being your host today. I hope you all got some good information. We do encourage you to apply if you think training would benefit your business, as well as if you're going to be doing any hiring this year or going into next year. You want to apply for this grant because you get 3 months of salary returned to the employer. So it might be a win-win for you. But if you have any questions, if you could put up our contact information, feel free to contact myself or Lahia. My team is ready and here to help you guys with any of your needs. And we look forward to seeing your applications come through. Please, if you have an application already in draft, or if you have an application that you're going to be working on, if you run into problems in the application, we can see your application in draft form. So you can call us, we can take a look at, we can help you problem solve. So feel free to call us and definitely send me an email with your business address. We'll put you on our list that goes to the city clearinghouse, and we'll find out exactly where your business is located and get you that information so that you know that you're in a TIF area or outside of a TIF area. Thank you guys so much again for attending. I appreciate you. We look forward to hearing from all of you all, and have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody is leaving. No more questions. All right. Thank you guys. I'm going to be ending our presentation now.